After a dreary winter and an even drearier spring, summer is finally here. But if you're anything like me, you've got your vacation time all blocked off with nowhere to go and could use some ideas for a getaway or two. So here to offer a little inspiration is Boston Globe travel writer Christopher Muther, who's ready to take us on a journey from Tahiti to London to Cuba to Hawaii to Quebec City and back around the corner to Watch Hill, Rhode Island. Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
Can we start with my favorite word? You know what my favorite word is?
No.
Free. That is my favorite word. You wrote a column, which I thought was terrific, about how somebody can get a free trip to Tahiti. That was the point, wasn't it?
Exactly. Well, the point wasn't getting the free trip. No, but it was the bonus of getting.
What happened exactly?
The cruise ship that I was on, it's actually a yacht, a small yacht. Mm-hmm. They were having engine problems, mechanical issues, and therefore they canceled the cruise but let us stay on the boat.
And they gave you what?
They refunded everything. Airfare, what we paid to travel on the cruise, all of it, excursions, and then they opened up the bars, the internet, the laundry. So it was like the best. It was like
for the whole week that you were.
For the whole week,
yeah. It was like what?
It was like winning a showcase on The Price is Right. That's exactly how I felt.
You know, but the reason I even mention the story, because I don't think most of us are going to have that the experience, is you rolled with the punches.
Yes.
And which I think is a really important thing in travel. I was stunned. Roughly half of the people on the yacht were so upset they just left.
They just left.
And forwent, for whatever the word is, all that free stuff.
They didn't forgive. They
gave it all up.
Yeah, they gave it all up. And I don't understand why, you know, for instance, if they wanted to do this cruise again, they could. They were getting refunded either way. So why not hang out in Tahiti for a week?
So do you have a rule of thumb? I'm serious about rolling with the, I mean, for example, you didn't roll with, you went to London.
Yes.
And even though you got a free upgrade, the premium, I read in the Globe, you started crying on the streets or something. You said that, yes?
Yeah, not because I had the free upgrade. Oh. But that was a different set of circumstances.
What is the rule, really, about rolling with the punches? Because things always, I mean, you lost a piece of luggage, or at least it was delayed there.
Yes.
What's your rule of thumb? Do you have one?
You know, my rule of thumb, and it's funny because I met someone in Tahiti, and it was that kind of mad dash for the baggage belt. And I just kind of stood back and watched, and he said, "This really doesn't make you anxious?" And I said, "No." I was like,
why?
I know it was, you know, when you do it, I do it so often, so I know what to expect. The other thing is, being anxious and not rolling with the punches doesn't get you any further in your trip. It just gives you more gray hairs or fewer hair, less hair.
Me? Okay, can we talk about, you wrote an open letter of sorts to Donald Trump about traveling to Cuba. What was the point of that again?
The point was, you know, there are, essentially in his quest to undo anything that Barack Obama did, he's tightening restrictions on travel to Cuba again. And my letter to him was that I don't and can't tell him where he can go with his vacation, so I don't feel like he should be able to tell me.
That was bold.
Where I should be able to go.
You know, and one of the things I don't understand, I'm dying to go to Cuba, by the way, and there's a misconception that with the rule changes by this administration that Americans can't go. It is, the rules have been narrowed, but you can, yes?
You can, yeah.
And what are the rules?
So the rules before were, it was people to people, which meant that you could go and sort of, if you were doing something with the Cuban people to help them. And now it's more restrictive in that you have to do it. Now the category is called support for the Cuban people. And in this case, you have to keep an itinerary of what you're doing while you're in Cuba for up to 5 years after you've been.
But you don't have to go with a group. You can still do it as long as you're willing to go through a little bit of bookkeeping.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more you're doing yourself, but you can still go.
Okay, so you can go. It's harder to get from Boston to Cuba, but it's easier, according to you, I think as of April, to get from Boston to Hawaii. They're now nonstop flights, yes? Mm-hmm. And did you take the first one?
I took the third one.
And how was that? It's a long flight, yes?
Mine was 12 hours, and it was great because the cabin was half empty that I was in. I had a great flight attendant who, very, very kind, made
Supplied you with liquor, essentially. Is that not? I thought
well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
He did. Okay, so most people I know, I went to Hawaii once many years ago, most of us go for the beaches. You obviously went for the clouders. Is that not correct?
I went for the clouders.
What is
yes.
a clouder? I didn't know until I read your column.
It's a large group of cats.
Yeah, and can you explain? This is rather odd, by the way. The Lanai cat, what do you mean, no? The Lanai Cat Sanctuary in Hawaii was like the highlight of your trip.
Yes, it was my reason for going to Hawaii, basically.
Yeah.
It's a cat sanctuary on 3 acres, 600 cats that have been rescued on this small island. And also by rescuing the cats, they're saving this this bird that nests in the ground, which is an endangered species in Hawaii. So the cats are happy. The birds live, and then people such as myself get to go and spend quality time.
Which you did.
With 600 cats, yes.
You know, do you know, what's the name of this place, Lanai Cat Sanctuary?
Yes.
You know that the nickname is what really has caught on. You know that, right?
The Fur Seasons?
No, America's biggest litter box. You know that? I mean, how is that fun?
I couldn't smell anything.
Okay, enough of that. We only have a minute left. I often say, no man ever steps in the same river twice. You ever heard me say that?
All the time.
You stepped in the same river twice. This place looks fascinating to me. Quickly tell me about this joint in Rhode Island where you used to hang out when you were a little kid, yes?
Yeah. This town called Watch Hill, which my parents used to bring me to when I was little. We were day trippers because it's expensive and my parents are really cheap. So we never actually got to stay there. But Watch Hill is like this wonderful town. It's kind of frozen in time. Part of it is because it's so expensive. And then the other part of it is just it's kind of in a remote spot. So it's just sort of stepping back in time.
How far from Boston is it?
2 hours.
And if you can't afford, you said I assume if you can't afford the more expensive accommodations, you could stay where your family did stay. Would you call it the Moldy Grout Motel?
Yeah, and the Seaweed Shores Hotel.
I love that place. They have great food, too. It's nice to see you,
Delicious.
Christopher.
Great to see you as well.
Great writing and traveling. As always, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.